count on 7 News.
This morning, America's Secretary of State slams China for threatening Australia over our call for a coronavirus inquiry. The search to find the source of a student's COVID-19 infection that shut down one of the country's most prestigious private schools. And a big clean-up continues in Geelong after a wild storm left behind damaged homes. But was it a mini tornado?
This is 7 News with Ann Sanders.
Good morning. The US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has weighed in on Australia's dispute with China, declaring America stands with Australia against bullying from Beijing. The federal government insists it'll continue to work constructively with China. Political reporter Taylor Aiken is in Canberra. Taylor, good morning. The diplomatic tensions could impact the wider trade market.
Yeah, and there are fears the ongoing war of words with China could pose a threat to Australia's diverse export market. Beijing has already imposed an 80% tariff on barley, with concerns similar restrictions could be extended to other products such as wine, seafood, oats and dairy. But industry leaders have told 7 News there continues to be cooperation on a market level. The problems lie within politics. US Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has also weighed in, saying the United States will stand by Australia.
The Chinese Communist Party chose to threaten Australia with economic retribution for the simple act of asking for an independent inquiry into the origins of the virus. It's not right.
But today, our government is instead focusing on reducing the cost of energy and consolidating domestic manufacturing. The technology roadmap outlines the government's 30-year plan to reduce carbon emissions by investing in new technologies. The paper prioritises gas over coal, along with batteries, electric vehicles and renewables such as hydrogen. It also doesn't mandate a 2050 emissions target, with Energy Minister Angus Taylor saying the government's focus remains on technology and not taxes. And
Taylor Aiken in Canberra. Thank you, Taylor. New South Wales health authorities are desperately trying to track down where a Sydney schoolboy contracted coronavirus. St Ignatius College in Riverview has been shut down for deep cleaning. Miley Hogan has more.
Good morning. The Year 7 student and his close contacts are all in isolation, including family members, other students and staff members. Health officials are working to track down how this student contracted coronavirus. Health officials say he only attended school for a day and a half before developing symptoms and then heading home. It comes as the Premier revealed her government is working on a plan to get international students back to Australian universities, suggesting they could enter the country and quarantine in hotels before returning to campus. The Premier would not confirm a time frame and said the plan would depend on the federal government allowing foreigners back into the country.
I think we should consider when foreign students are allowed back to complete their studies here to ensure the survival of those jobs. And many regional communities rely on the local university for employment and the supply chains that are created.
Over the last 24 hours, 9,700 people were tested, leading to 2 new cases in New South Wales. There are 94 active cases, 3 are being treated in intensive care and 2 are on ventilators.
Thanks, Miley. In Victoria, the Cedar Meats cluster continues to grow, with another 3 cases linked to the Melbourne abattoir. But the state has recorded its lowest number of new daily infections in almost 3 weeks. Nick McCallum has more.
Yes, it's the best result in Victoria since May the 1st. Just 4 new coronavirus cases overnight. Also this morning, police reported the lowest April daily crime reports since 2014. Increased police presence and more people at home led to significant reductions in robberies, burglaries, theft, and surprisingly, even domestic violence reports.
We're surprised that we haven't seen a spike at this stage in terms of offences being reported. That's not to say that we won't see a delayed reporting of this.
The police assistance phone line was also overwhelmed in April. People reporting illegal parties and businesses operating against COVID rules. Defence Force personnel were even called in to help on the phones.
It's not about people dobbing people in. It's about people doing the right thing and holding others to account who are breaching the Chief Health Officer restrictions. It's about saving lives.
But police warn since the COVID restrictions have started to ease, already crime has started to trend upwards.
Geelong residents are in a race against time to repair damaged homes before more rain falls over the coming days. A freak storm ripped through the southwestern suburbs yesterday, leaving 60 homes in need of repairs. Georgia Comensoli reports.
Good morning, guys. Well, it's a lot quieter here this morning down on Ironbark Street in Warn Ponds, but the clean-up is far from over. Tradies and residents were awake well into the night last night, making sure that those homes affected by Tuesday night's storm were boarded up and safe and secure for the rain that fell overnight. The Bureau of Meteorology are now investigating the storm that randomly hit these homes along the suburban streets in Mount Dunedin and Warn Ponds. Yesterday, the SES were doing building reports on those homes affected, and today insurance companies are joining in the mix to figure out exactly how much that 10-minute storm cell will cost. And residents say they had no warning of what was to come on Tuesday night, and now they're asking questions why they weren't told a severe weather event was on the way.
A woman has died and a man is being questioned by police after a stabbing in Sydney's west overnight. Emergency crews were called by terrified neighbours who heard the victims scream for help. Natasha Squarey reports.
The 27-year-old woman died from a single stab wound, and her body was found inside her home here at Quakers Hill around 6:30 last night. Her husband, who police say killed her, was arrested out the front. He was taken to Blacktown Hospital and overnight underwent a mental health assessment. This morning, the 31-year-old was transferred to Riverstone Police Station for questioning. Devastated neighbours say they heard the victim calling out for help, and they called 000.
I was taking the rubbish bin out and I heard some scream. Then after the police, ambulance, everything came here.
It was like so scary and feeling so scary, like this murder can happen here and it can affect on children, because I was not allowing them to come outside and they were saying like there's a police out there, and it also scared them as well.
Specialist police have spent the morning going over the home and the couple's history. The accused killer remains in custody and is yet to be charged.
An accused killer has faced court in Brisbane, charged over the murder of his parents at their bed and breakfast in the city's north. Christopher Puglia was extradited from Sydney. Mac Lyon has more.
Christopher Puglia has had his matter mentioned for the first time here in Queensland after being extradited back from New South Wales overnight. The 31-year-old is charged with 2 counts of murder, accused of killing his parents, Franco and Loris Puglia, at their Joyner home. Court documents have confirmed police will now allege the couple, both 59, were murdered with a sledgehammer. Their son had his matter briefly mentioned here at Pine Rivers Court this morning, where prosecutors also revealed he will be charged with attempted arson, accused of setting a towel on fire inside the North Brisbane bed and breakfast.
I won't go into the facts and circumstances of it, but I understand there is another charge of attempted arson forthcoming later this morning. Given the nature of the allegations, it goes without saying that he's pretty overwhelmed.
Puglia had requested to be in court for the hearing, but because of COVID-19 restrictions, he was kept in the watch house. He's been remanded in custody for the next 2 months as a committal briefing is prepared. He will face court here again on July 13.
Britain is on track for its worst unemployment figures on record, and Australians have been caught up in the economic downturn in London. But some are making use of their extra time to help others. Hugh Whitfeld reports from London.
This is a car park originally built for the Olympic Games in London, but it's been turned into a food distribution hub, one of 33 across the British capital, where mainly volunteers are packing food parcels for some of the city's vulnerable citizens. Many of them can't leave home because they are considered vulnerable to catching coronavirus. Other people need economic and financial help, having lost their jobs. And among the volunteers helping out to pack the food are some Australians themselves who've been furloughed from work or placed onto Britain's version of the JobKeeper program.
I've been furloughed from my job, so I had a lot more time on my hands than I'm used to. And I love living in Hackney. It's really nice to be able to do something actually positive for the community. And it's not generally the most high socioeconomic area anyway, so to give them a service where it's protecting them, protecting the community, it's a pretty straightforward value that we're adding, I guess.
You can see that people need it. You see all the homelessness around, which is so different from Australia and New Zealand.
Thousands of food parcels are being packed across London every day, and the demand is only getting bigger as economic reality bites. Analysts expect that unemployment in Britain will be worse this year than during the depths of the financial crisis. It is not just a health emergency in this country, it is an economic one as well.
Thanks, Hugh. Newly appointed Knight, Captain Sir Tom Moore has spoken of his delight at being honoured for his fundraising work. The veteran, who walked 100 laps of his garden before his 100th birthday to raise money for the UK's health service, says he never imagined something like this would happen.
Never ever in 100 years did I anticipate that the honour, this great honour, would come to me.
He managed to raise more than $60 million for the NHS. Next in 7 News, dams overwhelmed as America's Midwest is hit by torrential rain. And is this the new lift button? No need for touching in the age of coronavirus.
I have been watching you, Mad.
I've lived in Broken Hill my whole life.
Bloody flies.
You got to sort of make your own fun a bit out here. Really got that community spirit.
I am Big Brother, and I've chosen you. Welcome to my brand new house.
I hope I'm a pretty likeable guy.
Let's hope you're ready for what I've got planned.
Big Brother, what are you playing at?
Who wins? You decide.
I always thought it was me, that I was the reason all these diets never worked.
This is genuinely not a temporary fix. There's some serious psychology behind it.
It's funny how much smarter I feel like Noom has made me. It's the simple things.
Once I understood why I was making those choices, it was easy for me to change those habits, and weight loss came naturally after that.
I've been on Noom for 4 months now. I've lost 27 pounds, and I feel like I got my life back.
Visit Noom.com and lose the weight for good.
Infused oil deluxe crisps from Red Rock Deli.
Okay, let's start something. Let's learn. Let's do a degree and study online so there's less of this and more of this. Let's do this with Swinburne Online.
We know you've always worked hard for your money. In these uncertain economic times, who do you trust to protect your wealth? Invest with La Trobe Financial, Australia's multi-award winning wealth manager and leading credit specialist. Trusted by Australians for more than 60 years.
For 20 years, you've been fighting to save people money on their car and home insurance!
Who are you?
Budget Direct, helping Australians save on insurance.
We're coming to you live from the scene. Tell us what you've got there. Toilet paper?
Nah, just dinner stuff.
Right. You must have paid an unprecedented price for that during these unprecedented times.
Nah, they're from Aldi. Prices are always low.
Let's just go.
Whatever happens, our low prices are here to stay. Aldi. Good. Different.
Days of heavy rain in America's Midwest has led to flash flooding and at least 3 dams being overwhelmed. Thousands of people have been told to evacuate their homes as the water continues to rise.
A rush to higher ground as gushing water swallowed entire neighbourhoods.
The dam has failed. 100% failure. Evacuate.
It's crazy. Just surreal.
It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Twin dam failures in central Michigan triggering catastrophic flooding, destroying homes and businesses.
I never thought in my life that the dam would break.
This is real bad.
I don't know how long it's going to take for the water to go down now.
The water reaching rooftops and record highs. The river here cresting at more than 10 metres. Water seeping into transformers, tossing trailers over. Stark images showing the human toll.
It's devastating. We know that this water is incredibly damaging.
A dual crisis crippling the state.
It's hard to believe that we're in the midst of a 100-year crisis, a global pandemic, and that we're also dealing with a flooding event that looks to be the worst in 500 years.
Forecasters warning it may not be over, with more rain expected by the end of the week. In the United States, Ashley Mullaney, 7 News.
At least 14 people have died in India and Bangladesh as a super cyclone crossed the coast, bringing ferocious winds and rain. Millions of people were forced to flee their homes as the storm approached from the Bay of Bengal. The powerful winds have torn off roofs, uprooted trees and bent electricity poles. The system is the first super cyclone to form in the area since 1999. The nail-biting moment a small plane made an emergency landing on a highway has been caught on camera. The pilot, who was the only person on board, was forced to land in suburban Kansas City after one of the aircraft's engines failed. The plane hit a few signs while landing, but incredibly the pilot escaped unharmed. A shopping centre in Thailand has swapped lift buttons for foot pedals in an effort to prevent the spread of COVID-19. There was a little confusion at first, but customers have welcomed the new hands-free approach, saying it's a smart move to stay healthy. Checking the financial markets now, the ASX is trading up by more than 18 points in morning trade. The Aussie dollar is buying 65.93 US cents, almost 71 Japanese yen and $1.07 New Zealand. Next in 7 News, Sport with Jim Wilson, including the latest in the AFL, weeks out from their restart, plus the winners and losers as the NRL gets set to unveil their season draw.
Energy prices are falling, but their power play is costing you more. What you can do now to get the cheapest price. 7 News at 6.
You shouldn't need to choose between looking after your health and risking your well-being to receive the treatment you need. That's why NIB members can now access and claim on telehealth consultations for a range of services included in their extras cover, such as physiotherapy, dietetics, psychology, and more. So it's easy to stay healthy while staying at home. To find out more, search NIB today. It's worth it.
Great Wall End of Financial Year Value is now on. Get a brand new petrol dual cab or diesel single cab with a free trade and a 5-year warranty from only $19,990. That's right, from just $19,990 drive away. Great Wall, it's built to work.
Muscle and osteopain can really tie you down. That pain is caused by inflammation. Nurofen helps reduce inflammation and relieve osteo and muscle pain for up to 8 hours. Break free with Nurofen.
We remain dedicated to helping Australians. We've introduced a help program with a range of relief options to assist customers currently in need. Call us to find out how we can tailor help options for you.
Introducing Voltaren Osteo Gel 12 Hourly. With just 2 applications a day, it gives you joint pain relief for the whole day and all night. Next time, why not try Voltaren Osteo Gel 12 Hourly?
Today we'll be offering... They're gone. What do you mean they're gone? The snacks. They're gone. Missing. Well, they have to be here somewhere. They're not here. They can't just get up and walk away.
All right. Only 13 more hours to go. You're gonna have to hold it.
Don't miss a moment. New by Solven Duo Syrup is a 2-in-1 formula traditionally used to soothe an irritated throat and relieve an associated dry cough. By Solven Duo. Moments uninterrupted. Available at selected retailers.
Big day soon, and that dress is the one. So you might need to give up a few things, like smashed avocado. Put your savings into an IMB Bank Reward Saver. Whatever your goal, we'll help you get there.
Good morning, everyone. The NRL has confirmed the full season draw a week out from the season restarting when the Broncos host the Eels in Brisbane. After starting with back-to-back losses, the task for two-time premiers the Roosters has been made even tougher. They have to play title favourites the Storm and Raiders twice. There's reason for Parramatta fans to be optimistic this morning about ending their 34-year title drought. The Eels get to play plenty of games at Bankwest Stadium in a draw that sees them tackle Sydney rivals the Panthers, Tigers, Sea Eagles and Bulldogs twice.
We knew we were going to be playing the local derbies twice. They're the ones that fans want to see. They want to see it on TV.
The season resumes with the Eels taking on the Broncos next Thursday night at Suncorp Stadium. Then it's the Cowboys hosting the Titans on Friday night, followed by the Roosters versus the Rabbitohs at Bankwest. On Saturday, the Warriors and Dragons clash in Gosford. Then the Sharks play the West Tigers at Bankwest. And the Storm host the Raiders in Melbourne on Sunday. The Panthers host the Knights in Campbelltown and Manly play Canterbury in Gosford. St Kilda coach Brett Ratton says it'll be extra hard for fringe players to force their way into AFL teams when the season resumes on June 11 with state leagues yet to get up and running. There's no reserves competition for AFL players not selected in the 22. One option proposed is an intra-club scratch match on a Saturday morning.
It's pretty hard for players who miss out and then try and make a case for coming back in. They're going to have to train the house down, but everyone's going to have that challenge. So it might be like the Australian cricket team when they were flying. It's when you get in, it's hard to get out.
The next 4 rounds of fixtures are expected to be released tomorrow, with a night grand final still a possibility this season. Aussie fast bowler Pat Cummins has welcomed the extended break from the game. After bowling more overs than any other player in the past 12 months, Cummins plays in all forms of the game and has been a huge part of Australia becoming the #1 Test and 2020 side in the world.
Completely off guard because I didn't even know it was on the radar. So, it's another great acknowledgement for the team, how far we've come in the last couple of years.
It was great chatting to Pat Cummins. He's had a sensational 12 months. He's confident the Test series, by the way, against India will proceed here next summer, even if it's played in front of empty stadiums. Olympic basketballer Steph Talbot has been forced to adapt during the global health crisis. The 25-year-old was due to make her WNBA debut for the New York Liberty this week and should have been just 10 weeks out from her second Olympic Games in Tokyo.
It was so close, you were coming up to the final preparations and then now it's a whole nother year away. So I guess it's just back to training and getting ready for the WNBL season.
Teams will return to modified training in just over 2 weeks. Supercars champion Shane Van Gisbergen is the new leader of the All-Stars E-Series after winning all 3 races on virtual NASCAR circuits in the US. The Red Bull driver is now 64 points ahead of Scotty McLaughlin. Drivers will return to the track next month when the season resumes in Sydney on June 27. Well, he was a master with a willow in hand, and cricket legend Sachin Tendulkar is pretty handy with a pair of scissors too. Hair salons in most parts of India are closed due to lockdown, so Sachin took it upon himself to give son Arjun a trim. The little master remains immensely popular. His social media hairstyling video has been viewed, wait for it, Anne, by nearly 4 million times in less than 24 hours. He's the new Vidal Sassoon, and I'm going to call it Sachin's Salon.
Oh, he's got himself a second job there.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Good on you.
Next in 7's Morning News, we'll have the national weather forecast with David Brown.
Bateman's Bay Fire Brigade stood on top of that roof and wouldn't let this burn.
All donated. People are amazing.
Join Dr. Harry and see how our heartland is healing.
You're giving it a second chance.
New Better Homes, Friday on 7.
The world's most exotic fragrances are made by nature. That's why we've created Botanica Fragrances, infused with natural ingredients that are responsibly sourced. Botanica by Airwick.
Harvey Norman has everything you need for your home. Our spacious stores are open with great deals on big brand Australian-made mattresses and ensembles. Huge savings on bedroom furniture, including beds, bedside tables and tall boys. Great bargains for the kids' bedrooms. Choose from space-saving bunks, beds, desks and more. Time to get cozy with amazing prices across a huge range of Manchester essentials. Mattresses, ensembles, bedroom furniture in Manchester. Everything you need for your home. Browse online and shop safely in store. Now at Harvey Norman.
Eggs.
They're bursting with protein, vitamins and omega-3s. Ideal for healthy Aussies every day. So, get cracking, Australia.
A few days ago, James had neck pain. Then he discovered Voltaren Emel Gel. It relieves pain 2 times faster and reduces inflammation. Now with a no-mess applicator.
At St George, managing your money from home is simple and secure. Using internet banking or our mobile app, you can change your PIN, check your balance, increase your daily limit and pay your bills, all without needing to leave your den.
Hi, I'm Gerard Malouf. I've been in the personal injury business for over 35 years. My team has won over 25,000 cases and adhere to the principle that just winning is not enough. They insist upon winning by the maximum margin each and every time. If we haven't shown you the difference between just winning and striving for the maximum payout, I will personally take responsibility. If you want maximum justice, there's only one choice. Call Gerard Malouf and Partners today.
I'd like a bar of chocolate, please.
Your change.
Happy birthday, Mum.
There's a glass and a half in everyone.
Hey guys, you know our deal. We love underwear. So here's a fun fact. Until 2001, all Disney World employees wore communal underwear. Tune in next week for another underwear fun fact.
This weather report proudly brought to you by Australian Red Cross.
If you're reaching for a coffee this morning, maybe reach for a cup of tea instead to mark International Tea Day. The event, led by the United Nations, recognises the role tea plays in fighting hunger and poverty in tea-producing nations. Tea is the second most popular beverage around the world, second only to water, with each Australian drinking around 300 cups a year. Almost time for a cuppa. David Brown, but first of all, tell us about the weather.
Yes, thanks very much, Anne, and good morning. Yes, a cold outbreak has engulfed the southern states. Gale to storm force winds are expected to pound the New South Wales coast tomorrow. Now, snow should also reach the central tablelands of New South Wales tonight as we use our computer model to generate where the snow is likely to fall. A dusting is also possible in the Blue Mountains. That should happen during the wee hours of tomorrow morning. Now, an intense low is expected to wind up right here, just off the Sydney coast during the morning. There it is, the system intensifying. It will drive gale force to storm force winds along most of the coast for a good part of the day, and we're expecting to see waves in excess of 6 metres. It's our first big east coast low for the season. To the south, well, it's snowing. In fact, have a look at this footage just in from the beautiful little alpine hamlets of Falls Creek and Mount Hotham. 2020, trust me, is shaping up to be a bumper ski season. Let's go to the weather wall now. We're popping into Brisbane. Rain at times today and a top around 21 degrees. We're already there. Sydney, the rain will continue to build as the day wears on. Heavy falls expected to unfold overnight. Our forecast top around 20, I think, well, that's passed. As we have a look at Melbourne, just a few passing showers, high wind chill and a top of around 13 degrees. In contrast, Perth, clear blue skies and 21 degrees. We can see this massive cloud deck that's driving areas of rain across the northern part of the country. To the south, this is the low we're expecting to wind up off the Sydney coast tomorrow morning. Cold, wet and windy in Sydney tomorrow, only 16 degrees, but the bulk of the rain should clear by the afternoon. That's the latest weather. More details coming your way at 4 o'clock.
All right, Brownie, thank you. And that is 7 News to Now. We'll keep you up to date right throughout the day. Our next bulletin is at 4 p.m. I'm Ann Sanders. Thanks for your company. Have a lovely day.